DJ Mo Beat, Scratching the Surface podcast. Got the homie Cliff Skighwalker in the building. First off, happy birthday.
Oh man, I didn't think we were gonna talk about it on here. Didn't want to date the episode.
No, it don't even matter,
yeah.
man. It's real life. It's your birthday right now,
Man.
and you could be anywhere in the world right now.
But I'm
you're
with
here.
you, dog.
Yes.
Let's be clear. This is one of those things where it's most definitely just a highlight of the day.
Nice.
Because
man.
I feel like birthdays sometimes they can become monotonous where you do the same thing all the time.
And it definitely gets different when you get older. It's like you're not as hyped like some birthday cake. All right, cool.
Exactly. But at the same time, dog, I am a fan of birthday cake.
You did mention
body by birthday cake.
You did mention that you were going to make sure you get some birthday cake.
Yeah, man. But sometimes it can be, sometimes it's like, okay, you go out, do the same thing. It's like never in my life on my birthday have I done a podcast. So this is
the first
for me. I highly appreciate it, and thank you for being in town, even asking me to do this.
No problem, man. Like I said, appreciate you coming through. So like I said, I already did a bit of an intro before we started talking, so I'm gonna just jump right into it. So you got the show right now, Instachef.
Yeah, man.
How did this come together? Even like, take us down that road, that trip.
Yeah,
How
man.
did this happen?
I will try to not talk your head off too much, but definitely include.
No, this is what we're here for, is to talk.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's
okay.
go.
So I helped put together so Thrillist had a show called Food Groups.
Okay.
Where it's basically they do mini documentaries of regional food that doesn't really get talked about as much.
Mm-hmm.
And they were planning an episode on Chicago mild sauce. And I spent half my life in Chicago, so I was like, bet. And they had one of my friends, Phil Bader, reach out, be the middleman to Thrillist and me, because he used to work at Thrillist. And he was like, yo, if you're gonna talk about this, Cliff can help you with this.
You're like, he's the guy.
Yeah. So he was like, so we were introduced via email, and they were like, we're thinking about talking about this. What can you tell us? And I was like, yo, I was raised on this. And I basically kind of gave them a blueprint of what that episode might be.
Okay.
And so gave them that blueprint. A couple weeks later, they came to Chicago, and I met them in Chicago, filmed it with them. And then as we were filming, the head of video, who just became the head of video, was there. So I introduced myself, we exchanged contacts, and I said I may have some content opportunities that could fit with the Thrillist mold. Because one thing about Thrillist that I like is that when they go into different places and cover different foods, different cultures, they always pay a respect to it.
Okay.
That's not shown with other people. And I feel like that's so, they don't try to hipsterize the message with everything. They try to really, really show the honest lens into a culture that they're not familiar with themselves.
Okay.
And so once I saw that, I was like, okay, Thrillist is tight.
You're rocking all right,
I rock
cool.
with them heavy. And then I saw the Chicago episode of the show Food Groups that they put together talking about mild sauce. And I was like, oh, this is so fire. They did it perfectly.
The vision was executed properly.
Bro, they executed their vision. It was so good. And so from there, I reached out and I said, hey, just wanted to follow up on the opportunities I was referring
being
to.
Proactive.
Yeah,
and
they were like, and didn't hear back from them. Well, no, first I didn't hear back, and then I sent a follow-up email. Okay. And they were like, yeah, let's get on the call. Got on the call, started pitching them a few things. Some of them were like, and then I was like, well, if that's the case, I'm working on this idea.
Then
and
you
I
hit
was
it
like,
with the wham bam,
yeah.
hey.
And I was like, I'm working on this thing. I'm gathering information as we speak, but, and this delves into the concept of Instachef that we could talk about, but I told him, I was like, look, there's an underground network of chefs and cooks all over the country who are going into business for themselves, eliminating the middleman and the overhead that comes with certain restaurants. And they're selling food, showcasing it, and selling it via Instagram. And over the phone, I could hear the people I was on the call with were like, wait, what? And I was like, yes.
Like they had no clue about this whole world.
I was like, yo, I can provide so much information to you on this from places. And it's happening almost in every city. You just have to look. Mm-hmm. And they were like, let's keep talking about this. Let's keep the information going. So I kept talking. I kept communicating with them on it, kept sending them information. And then what that turned into was going back to Chicago and doing basically a trailer to the episode.
Okay.
Where basically they were like, here are some talking points. You only get one shot to do this, so let's make it right.
Oh, so
Boom.
the pressure is on.
Yeah, pressure was super on. Go to Chicago, meet with some of the producers there, film a sizzle reel or a trailer, and then I'll never forget. This was WrestleMania of 2008. I was in New Orleans for WrestleMania.
Okay.
And this was right before Monday Night Raw. After WrestleMania, they hit me up and they say, "Hey, are you by your computer right now?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Yo, we're about to send you something. Just be ready for it. Like, be ready for it in the next 30 seconds." And it was the sizzle reel and the trailer.
Okay.
So I open it. I open my computer, go into my email. It's pulled up. I click the attachment, and they play the trailer, and the trailer's incredible. I was like, oh, like they really took time into an idea that I had and put it together as if it was theirs and showed so much respect and love to it. And so they were like, and they kept me on the phone to hear my like raw reactions. And I'm going crazy. I'm like, oh my, what? And then they're like, so did you like it? And I was like it? What?
Yeah.
And they were like, so because of the sizzle reel, we sent the sizzle reel around our office. We love it. We want to shoot a trailer. I mean, we want to shoot a pilot. So they went to, we shot the pilot. So the LA episode with Big Sean is actually the pilot.
Okay.
The pilot episode. And we shot that.
Pilot.
Bro, shout out to Sean because like, so I'd been talking to Sean and everybody throughout, and this was the day of the NCAA championship game between Michigan and Villanova.
Okay.
I was out in Chicago, and then Sean was out in Chicago, and I linked up with him and I said, Sean, first of all, I really try not to ask y'all for anything.
Yeah.
Like anything. But I said, Sean, there's an opportunity that I have with a food show.
So for you to even ask, it's like, yo, this is some real
Bro,
stuff.
I hate asking y'all for stuff, man. I hate it. But I had to do it on this one because this was like one of those things where it's like, it was the shot. And I felt like there were some life-changing kind of tones in this, and I just wanted my friends to kind of get in on it.
Yeah.
And I asked Sean, there's a food show working. If a pilot comes about or if there's an episode, would you be down to do it? He was like, bro, give me the dates, and if I am available during those dates, let's do it. Pilot comes around, I hit up Sean immediately, and I'm like, yo, they have a pilot and they want to shoot it next month. Here are some dates. Can you make any of them? And there was one date where he was like, yes. So got in contact, did all the communications to be able to make that happen. Shot the pilot. Pilot gets cut. They send the pilot around the office. People love it. Pilot turns into a 6-episode season. And I'll never forget the Sunday before I get the email. This was in July. I go to see my grandmother, and she was doing really bad. And the last thing I tell her is I'm working on this show. I think it's gonna be a big thing, and I just wanted to let you know because I don't know when I'm gonna see you again. So I'm trying to treat all these moments like it's our last moment together.
Yeah.
And I say, I have this show coming up. I think it's gonna be big. I love you. See you later. Monday, they send me the email for the contract of the 6-season episode, the very first episode. Then Tuesday, my grandmother passes away. Oh, and I was like, but it's sad, but at the same time, it lets me know that no matter what was happening, there are people watching over me. And like, there are people trying to push me in positive directions towards any and everything. And so that kind of showed that I had an angel watching over me during this period of just this period of transitioning into the food world with my grandmother transitioning into new life. It was like there are certain parallels to it.
Timing,
the timing of it. So then got the contract situation straightened out. That took a couple weeks. And then started filming episodes. They dropped first episode dropped at the start of December of 2018, and then we just ended the first season at the end of January. And
so how's the response to like been?
Bro, the response is incredible. For people to organically rock with a new idea, and not necessarily a new idea, but an idea that hasn't been covered as Instachef is covering it. Like, these types of chefs get mentioned in certain interviews and videos, but nobody really takes the deep dive into them.
Yeah.
Because their stories are
And making it
incredible.
about them. Yeah.
Bro, their stories are incredible. The food that they make is A1. And it's just like, man, anytime I've seen these chefs covered, it's like I want to know more about them. I want to know more.
But you usually only get like a little glimpse.
You only get a little glimpse into it. And so this show was that deep dive. I wanted to take a deep dive. I wanted to make sure to give these chefs the proper platform to not only taste their food and get a chance to talk about their food, but their message and get their story, because there's always going to be something in that story, that raw, unfiltered story, that's going to inspire somebody watching.
Yeah, that somebody can relate to.
Even if it's like the show gets a good amount of views. No, even if there's literally a handful, or not even a handful, one person sees a show and they're like, man, this is inspiring me to do this. And it doesn't have to be even in food. It can be in anything, music, fashion, whatever. But if you saw the show and you found some type of inspiration in it, I won.
Yeah,
that's true. The show has showcased its purpose.
Yeah, like you said, it's definitely good to get more of a glimpse into the world of these chefs, because like I didn't even know about this world really until you brought it up, and I was just like, dang, people really like cooking up in the kitchen and have people come over and buy the food and like selling out, like the food sells out.
Yeah, man.
People waiting for it. It's just like, man, this is a whole world.
So not only are you seeing the progression, like you're seeing the show progress through episodes, but after the episodes, if you keep watching the chefs, you see their progression. And then you see their stories, like even before we reach the chefs have been progressing in their own ways.
Yeah, they're already moving, doing stuff.
They're already moving. So this is just a spotlight to it. And I say this like at the end, like this show, Instachef, not about me at all. I'm literally a vessel to try to put these chefs in a proper light.
And it's good you're doing this. It's like nobody else is really doing that right now,
Man.
and like giving them this shine. So it's like, you know, you're helping them get exposure to people who had no clue.
Bro,
And it might even be somebody in the area. They're like, oh shoot, he right down the street. Let me go get some food.
So
real quick.
I never forget looking at this part who ends up being my homegirl now. She has an Instagram, Black Box Dinners, and I always remember looking at it, and then finally mustering up the courage to order. So I ordered, and then seeing that she was a 5-minute walk from the crib.
Oh, 5-minute walk.
Wow. She was around the corner. She was two blocks down, and then you turn right.
That's crazy.
And I was like, this has been here for the last 6 months, and I didn't know. And that kind of was like, okay, that apprehension that I had of seeing it but didn't order, seeing it and not ordering. Like, I want to kind of, with the show, eliminate that apprehension and kind of be like, yo, if you see something and it looks good, do whatever you can to get it. Like, don't be afraid. And that's another thing, like, people are afraid, whether it's the person cooking it looks a certain way, or the food looks good but it's maybe something that you're not used to. It's like, no, try new things, seek these people, open a line of communication with somebody, because you never know. That person could end up being your best friend. That person can end up making the
fire food, and it's like, yo,
one of the best renditions of this dish that you like. But you being scared basically is stopping you from it.
It's funny because a situation kind of similar happened maybe like a month or so ago. Randomly, it's a homie that I follow on IG. He posted like some food, and it was like he put like some music behind it, so it was like kind of like funny. It was like some mac and cheese, and he put some kind of like silly music. So I like put an emoji, and like I'm like laughing at it. Food looked good, so that the chef who made the actual food saw my comment and was like, yo, bro, hit me up for some food. And I was like, dang, I was thinking about trying out some meal preps. Then we start DMing. And then he's like, yo, if you want to try some food, just like come through. Like I like, give you some stuff to try out. Just, shout me out on the gram. I'm like, all right, cool. Send the address. Literally is like 7 minutes from my crib.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, what's the odds of this? Like, just randomly coming across. I feel like you might be from from Michigan as well, and
Oh,
we were in
word.
LA.
That's,
Like in LA, it was
bro.
like stays right near my crib. So, like I said, just that's another situation that's like social media. I'm like, oh, see some food, put this, oh, they comment, boom, and the food was fire.
Bro,
So,
it's so, especially with food, it's so easy to, when you realize how easy it is to get it, it's like, why don't you? Why don't you? Like, people are missing out on a lot of things because they have certain feelings about whatever. And it's like you're missing out on opportunities that could, like, oh man.
so has this always been one of your things as far as like, whether it be cooking or being interested in that world?
I mean, I was always kind of cooking. I was just, again, wasn't ready for people to see it. Like, what
Okay.
I was
You was
afraid.
like at the crib, like,
Yeah, I'd cook, but then it was like you needed that somebody else to have it and kind of give you that confidence.
that reassurance where it's like, hey, bro, this
Is actually
fire.
like really fire, and
like,
it's
oh.
it's like, yeah, all right. All right, you just saying that because, and then
I know
it's
what you
like you're
mean.
just saying
Yeah.
that because you one of the homies, and then like somebody that you don't know somehow gets a hold of your food, and you're like, yo,
Then it's like, okay, wait, this for real now.
yes, and that started with me posting. I wasn't comfortable with posting my food I was making on Instagram.
Okay.
Until somebody was like, man, you should just do it and see what happens. And I did it, and people were like, man, you trying to cook? And it's like, no, I'm not trying to cook. I've been cooking.
Just know I've been in here.
I've been in here. I've done my research. I know what flavors work with whatever I'm making. And then people just started rocking with it. And it's just, I'm just happy, man. Happy to be able to be in a position to do something like this.
So okay, so last time when I pulled up to your crib, you whipped up the pizzas.
Oh yeah.
So talk to me about Cliff's Pizza.
Yeah, so Cliff's Pizza is, so with cooking, I've always wanted to make Detroit style pizza.
Okay.
Primarily because I was sick of buying it. I was sick of spending that money, and
Okay.
I knew there was a way I
like,
could
you know you
make
can
it.
do it.
I just had to do the research.
Okay.
So I did the research, and then I started just making like the most simple pizzas, like Napoli style pizza, which is just dough, sauce, cheese.
Yeah.
Like learning from, like, because in Napoli was the first place that made pizza.
Okay.
So
we
I
got
wanted
the
to-
pizza history going
Right.
on. Just
so,
know.
So I
You
wanted,
official with it.
yeah, man, I wanted to start from the source, and so I started making Neapolitan style pizza, and then once I figured that out, I was like, okay, let's transition this into Detroit style, and see what happens. It's a different type of way to make the dough, make the sauce, make the cheese. So I spent months just like making the dough, trying to get the dough right,
Make sure
in the
everything was right.
fields.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I started making it, putting it in the oven, having like my friends and my mom try it. And my mom is like the critic. She'll
Okay.
tell you if it's whack, but then she'll also show you the love if it's actually
Yeah.
good. And it was actually good. So I was like, okay.
So the part when like moms is like, yo, this is like fire. Was
Yeah.
that at the very beginning of when you were doing it, or when you were more comfortable? Like, okay, I think I got this now. Like, at what point did you start letting people try what you were making?
That was in the
crib?
beginning. In
Okay.
the beginning, like I was having, and in the very, very beginning, I was having my friends and my mother try it, and I was tweaking it,
Okay.
it for months, tweaking the sauce recipe, changing the oil, changing the flour quantities to try to get the dough right.
Okay.
I mean, not the quantities, but just the mixture.
Yeah.
The mixture, trying to get the mixture of the flours right, trying to get the dough right, trying to cut the cheese a certain way, trying to get the right cheese, then working on blends of toppings. Like, it was,
Man, it's
there
the
were
whole
like
thing.
stages of it.
It's levels to this pizza
Yeah,
game.
man. Yeah, man. And the dough is the most important part, because you
Okay.
can have whatever you want. If you don't get that right chew, that right crumb on that dough, it's over. People are not going to rock with whatever's on top of it.
Okay.
And I felt really comfortable with the dough. And that was the biggest, that took months. So once I got the dough right, I was like, it was like a burden had been lifted, and I was like,
Because I got it now.
okay.
Good.
Okay, I think now we're in the right direction. And then by the time you had it, I was in a good place with with pizza and everything.
You were juiced
so,
up by then. You
Yeah,
were like, all right,
yeah,
I'm
man. I hope you like
good.
it. By the way.
It was fire.
Yeah,
It was fire.
man. So at the top of this year, I started really publicizing it and really offering the opportunity for people that aren't connected with me at all, but a person that goes on the internet, goes on Instagram, and it pops up in their explore page, and it's like, I want to try this. Oh, this is right near Detroit. I'm there.
Yeah.
And it's so that's how it just started, and now I'm just trying to develop it, kind of make it, kind of like grow it. It's kind of like my baby right now. And
Do
so
you ever see yourself doing like maybe like a chain, like on some like Cliff's Pizza kind of vibe?
So
like
first it would have to be a restaurant. First I would have to open a place.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like if you want to get it to the point where it's like that, where you have multiple Cliff's Pizza spots, or do you just want to keep it like?
I mean, a chain would always be dope. It would always be dope. But I'm still like, of course, in the back of my mind, years from now, that would be super dope. Right now, I'm just trying to focus on just still improving upon the pizza.
You don't want to try to put too much on your plate at one
time.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, because I'm doing the pizza in small quantities, because I want to make sure the quality is always at a certain level.
Yeah, I feel that.
And sometimes with chains, the quality kind of takes a hit.
Yeah,
and
when
that's
you start
something
to up the quantity.
Yeah, and that's something I never want to be that person to. I never want to have something where people are like, "Man, you remember back in the day when it was popping and it was actually good." Like, I never want to have something that has my name on it have that type of feel.
I feel that.
So I always kind of want to make sure that the quality's high. So who knows? That would be dope. That would be dope 5-10 years from now. But I try to live as much as I can. Like 5-year, 10-year plans are always dope and are always cool to have. But when it comes to this, like this Cliff's Pizza, I try to live as much in the moment as I can on it, because I don't want to get distracted from the product within itself. And I don't want to mess up, like, I don't want to be thinking about something like that'll supposed to be in 5 years, and then at the present time I'm messing up the pizzas and I'm not.
Yeah, so it's like that 5-year plan wouldn't necessarily happen if you don't focus on what you're doing right now. Like if you kind of like messing the pizzas up today, like
exactly. But you're right though. Like I still the chain thing, that would be so dope. That would be so dope, and I think it will happen. As long as I'm progressing and taking the right steps, which I feel I am, then that's gonna happen in time.
So where can people try your pizzas right now? Like, if somebody's listening to this and they like just happen to be in the Metro Detroit area and they want to get some pizzas, how do they touch down?
You can literally go to the Cliff's Pizza Instagram, which is spelled Cliff's Pizza, CliffsPizza, Cliff's Pizza.
Plug.
And all you can do is plug. And all you can do is just DM.
Okay.
Shoot a DM, and I will make sure you'll know when the next time is that I'll be making pizzas.
So if somebody hits you in a DM and say, "Hey, bro, I'm having a pizza party. I need 20 pizzas."
Yeah. Well, that'll take some time. That'll take a couple, like that'll take maybe like a 2-3 week window.
Okay.
But it's a possibility to happen.
Okay. I mean, that's an extreme.
Like, But order.
But
listen. If there are extremes can be attained. It'll just take me some time.
Okay.
But man, definitely, just all you have to do is DM, and I'll let you know. I'll let you know when the next time I make. Because I try to keep it available at least 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
And I'm making dough constantly, because dough is it's a never ending journey. Like the process of making dough and like cultivating the dough to get it to the consistency that you like, never ending. So I'm just I'm always making dough. So then it's just a matter of, okay, do I have the sauce on deck? Do I have the cheese on deck? Do I have the toppings on deck? And then it's like, yo, I'm making pizza this day.
It's funny, I never thought this much into making pizza, honestly.
Bro, I took
it's serious.
It's serious. And bro, if you like one day, you just got to pull up and just see the dough making process, because it's a process. But once you see it, like you appreciate pizza so much more.
I just want to do a quick rewind.
For sure.
Back to Instachef. Like, think about maybe a couple years ago. Did you ever think to yourself that you would have a TV show, or that you could have a TV show? Or like, was that even like in the back of your mind? Or did it just kind of just like the idea started to come together?
in the back of my head, it was like I always want. It's like, man, dream job.
Okay.
Dream job would be this, and never knew the steps to do it. Never knew anything. I just knew that it would be so dope to be a person who has a food show, and I was and still am a huge fan of diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Okay.
You know, Guy Fieri's such a polarizing figure, whether you love him or hate him. I love him, but one thing regardless of your feelings on him, you can never knock the way that he can vocalize what he's eating.
Mm-hmm.
And the way, like, he describes food, you feel like you're chewing it right now as you're watching it. Like, you feel like you're tasting it. And his ability to do that has always been, I've always been envious of that ability. And even in the show, you see me, like, kind of working through it. But now, especially now more than ever, like, I know how to do that properly. But it's always
comfortable.
Yeah, but to answer your question, it's always been a dream of mine to do it. And that's why when the opportunity came, it was like, okay, I got to take full advantage of this, because this is something in the back of my head that I wanted to do years ago. And now that there's an opportunity to present itself, it's like, I can't mess this up. I got to do it.
No, definitely. So with Instachef, do you see that ever possibly like going overseas to like different places? Like, you got that in the back of your...
Bro,
that's on your radar, or what's up?
Bro, I'd love to go overseas, because I feel like this has happened. And people have been hitting me up in like other countries that have been watching the show.
So like, what might be some of the places that will be on your list of places overseas to hit up?
Bro, there are people in Jamaica doing it for sure. That counts as overseas. There's a C. There's a C, but I'll to answer your question
My
farther.
geography is a little off, so I don't want to say that's overseas.
But what was I about to say?
Let's think like Europe.
No.
Asia,
Somebody just hit me
Australia.
up. Somebody just hit me up from the Philippines, and
nice.
they were like, "Yo, they're showcasing their food on Instagram, and I've seen it, and I'm like, ooh, this looks fire." And then there are people doing it in London, as well.
I can see that being.
So
a spot.
I mean, listen, overseas would be so great. Speaking of London, your British accent.
So I can't do it now, and it's just like on cue. It's just gotta be like a little moment.
I wanted to show love properly to it. People don't know, man. Moby's British accent.
I might have to hit him with the British accent soon. I
apologize for putting you on the spot, sir. But I didn't want to leave without mentioning it and showing love to it.
So if you're listening, just know.
He got it in the bag.
Okay.
He got it in the bag, so don't be surprised if you're watching this.
Yes.
5 episodes from now, he springs it on you.
You know, I might have to do that. So, man, what do you see next for Instachef? Like,
for sure.
What you see?
I would love a second season.
Okay.
Let's
speak that into existence.
Yeah,
right now.
man. I would love another opportunity to just be able to showcase more chefs, because now that the show is out, like, my DMs are filled with chefs saying, if there's a second season, come out here.
Is that almost seems like if you were like a DJ and then the chefs are like almost like the artists sending you like, this my new mac and cheese, bro. Check this out. It's
bro.
Fire.
So like there are parallels to this. When you look at music is a universal language. No matter where you are. You could be Mo Beats and be out in Dubai, and somebody who doesn't know who you are, who doesn't know anything from anything, listens to a track and you're singing it and y'all are singing it word for word, and you see each other, and then boom, that's a connection.
Yeah,
it's just like food is a universal language too. You may be sitting across the table from somebody who is in a different tax bracket, who y'all never would have crossed paths, but then there's a food placed in front of you. And y'all are both eating it, and then you look over and you see, that person is enjoying it too. Boom, that's a connection.
It's like a commercial right there.
Yeah,
like
man.
It's like, ding.
And it's like, y'all have a connection. Now you have something to talk about, and then guys get to know each other over music, or you get to know each other over food. And these things, music and food, they have such power and the ability to connect folks. And at the lowest level, that's what I'm trying to do with this show, trying to connect people to new opportunities and new tastes that they maybe never had before. So down the line, man, I'd love an opportunity to kind of showcase more of these chefs who are just have the illest business mindsets to just progress and take things to another level, and that's what they're doing, and that's what I hope to do in the near future, man.
Nice. Well, man, I'm not gonna hold you for too long. Like I said, it's your birthday, so
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let you get to it. But man, I appreciate you coming through, jumping on the podcast real quick. Where can we find you on social media? Like, what's your tags, your handles, everything?
So you can hit me up. All my social media platforms is Skighwalker, SKIGHWALKER. From there, you can hit me up on Twitter, on Instagram, and then Cliff's Pizza on Instagram. I already plugged it, already spelled it. It's straightforward.
Yes.
But yeah, that's how you can reach me. Be sure to check out the first season of Instachef on Thrillist. Go to Thrillist, type in Instachef, or type in Instachef on YouTube. The first season pops right up. And man, Mo Beast, thank you for the opportunity to even be on this platform.
No problem.
Man.
Appreciate you.
This is gonna be this podcast. I don't like to do many podcasts, but as soon as Mo Beast hit me up, it's like this is a platform I'd love to just kind of speak and share my thoughts
on your birthday.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? That's real, bro. Right there. That's real.
Had to. You got to understand, for listeners and people watching, like, Mo Beats and I go back years.
Yeah, definitely.
So the fact that you've been able to see Mo Beats' progression, and you've been able to see just how he has expanded his brand is so fire, and should be motivating and inspiring to whoever watches this. Like,
appreciate it.
Mo Beats is on another level with this, and people should, definitely pay respects and homage properly.
Definitely appreciate it. I'm for the podcast, man, I'm actually just trying to just bring people on that I feel like will add value to anybody listening or anybody watching.
Hell yeah.
And that's what I feel like you're here doing right now, man.
Man, thank you, man. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here, man. For real.
Easy. All right, we out.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, dog.
Yeah, for sure.